Hi there, my name is Alex Munoz, and today I will be taking a look at the Pergear A168 LED video or camera light. What I received here is a NPF 550 battery, a charger that can be used as an AC charger as well as in the car, some gloves and some cleaning solution, and a little lipstick kind of brush, clean your lens, and the light, of course, itself. It comes in this neat little box. And let me just open this for a second here. Inside the box, I'm sure you guys can see this, is a plastic tray with the light, and it comes with this little manual here. Let's take a look. Nice little manual. It also comes with a filter. This is clearly to diffuse. It's like a diffuser, and then it comes with a blue filter to cool the light and with an orange filter to warm it up. It needs to be said that this light comes in two different versions. Just put this back together here. Version 1 is what I have here, which is the A6, just make sure I'm not A168. Just put that aside for a second here. The A168 is the standard LED light. It does not come with an adjustable color temperature. So there's another version that has an adjustable color temperature. This one in particular does not. So the front is a plastic frame, has all these LED bulbs, and of course you can slide in your filter like this. Go. Well, it's a little tricky though, I gotta say. There you go. And it looks like this to diffuse the light, and it takes these NP batteries that you can find in a lot of locations for a little money. What I do like is, I'm not sure you guys can see this, the contacts that they're using to make contact with the battery. They seem to be really solid and not as flimsy as other lights that I've seen before. I happen to have a charged battery here that we can use, which is coincidentally an NPF battery. It fits right in here. You just slide it in, it makes contact, and it locks securely so it doesn't fall out when it's on the camera. You can also hook up DC power, which is great. So if you have a DC out on your camera, or you're shooting this in the studio and you don't want to run through batteries, then it's great to have a DC connector and run this through an AC outlet. The way this works, what makes this light unique is a couple of things. First of all, the bottom mount here comes with a standard hot shoe or cold shoe mount that you can just put on your camera or whatever you have. But this is also a GoPro style compatible mount, so whatever you have that holds a GoPro can now hold this light, which I think is very unique. The mount itself is made of plastic, so is the light. It seems pretty durable. It's likely not as durable as metal, but it seems to be well built, and hopefully it's not just going to fall apart really quickly. Okay, so what else can I say about this light? It has, of course, the cold shoe mount, like I said, and it has a dimmer. So when you turn this on, you have a little power light in the back that goes on these little 5 blue LEDs here. Let me see. There you go. Right, and it shows you the power, the battery power that's left in your battery. And you can adjust the light output seamlessly. So it's like a stepless adjustment. It gets rather bright, and not my face. So I'm going to dial this down. What makes this light unique is what they call active area, or I think what they actually call it air switch. So I'm just going to take a look. This right here, air switch, and right here big. The air switch is basically a photo sensor that allows you to turn this on without adjusting it. So what normally these LED video lights have, or the problem that they have, is they have this dimmer, but it's also the on button. So let's say you meter or you dial in, let me just put that down here, and this is the amount of light that you need to shoot, and then you take a break. What you do then is you turn off the light, and as you can see, once the light is off, I've also completely changed the setting on the dimmer. So when I turn it back on, I would have to meter and adjust again to find my right exposure. So in order to counter this, I can just set my exposure and then I wave my hand on top of the light and it turns off. And if I wave my hand again, it turns on. This is nice in practical application when I was trying this, and it's on the camera. If you're not careful and you're wearing a baseball cap and you're looking through the viewfinder of your camera, you might just, turn off the light. So keep that in mind. I think it's a useful function if you make sure that you're not accidentally, turning this off, which might happen. And obviously, if you're doing a recording and this turns off, then your entire take might be ruined. So obviously, I think you've got to be aware of this little gadget. There's no function, there's no way to turn this off, which is a little bit of a downside here. There's no switch on anywhere where you can say, hey, I don't want this to happen. It's always on or always, always there. And it's quite sensitive, right? So that being said, I'm going to leave the diffuser on, and I'm going to mount this now on a little table tripod a little bit from the wall away. I'm going to turn off the video lights and we're going to meter the difference between ambient light and how much light output this produces and what difference it makes or would make hypothetically if you were shooting this in terms of f-stop. All right, let's do that then. There you go. See, by accident I just touched it and it turned on. All right, anyway, so let's set this up and let's meter a little bit so we get an idea how bright this light actually is and how many f-stops it can provide in a typical interview setting. This light obviously is not big enough to light an entire room, but if you are running gunning and you're doing an interview or something like this, this is an ideal light to be put on top of your DSLR or small video camera to run around and do interviews with. So let's figure out how much more light this thing provides than ambient and then conclude this review. All right, let's do that then. All right, so what I want to do now is I want to measure this. So this is about 3 feet away from the wall. And I think this is a typical distance that you might have in an interview scenario when you're very close to your subject. And this is probably likely the most usable scenario for a video setup or obviously for a photo shoot setup if you want to use this as an assistant or an effect light. So I decided to measure this in 2 ways. I'm going to measure this in terms of f-stops and I'm going to measure this in terms of lux. All right, let's start the whole measurement process first in terms of f-stops. So if I would be shooting this in a camera setting at 30th of a second, my ambient light right now in this room meters at f 1.0 and 8/10. If I turn on the light in the lowest setting and I meter again, I meter at a straight f 1.4. You guys can see this, f 1.4. If I dial this up all the way to the strongest setting, which is this meters f 2.8 and 6/10. Let's meter this again, 2.8, 6/10. There you go. So that means we went from, let's turn this off, f 1.0 and 8/10 to a f 2.8 and 6/10. In terms of foot candles or lux, the difference is technically the same, so it's just a different area of measurement. So let's measure this with the light off. I measure 14 lux, and as soon as let me turn this on in the lowest setting. All right, the lowest setting, I measure 15 lux, and in the highest setting, I measure 90. Actually, I measure 90. There you go, 97, 90 to 97. 97 actually, there you go. So in terms of light output, the light is definitely strong enough to give you a usable exposure when ambient light doesn't allow you to do that for an interview setting. But I think for anything that requires a lot of light, photo shoots, videos, this is not sufficient in terms of power output that it provides. I think that I think it is a very versatile light, especially because it has this little function to turn it on and off. However, I found that occasionally a little bit annoying when I was hitting it with my baseball cap or baseball hat, and I accidentally turned it off and had to retake the whole thing. And sometimes when you do an interview, then it might not be possible to do that. The light itself is very evenly lit. It looks good on video. It's just not enough to light an entire room, but it is definitely enough to use as an effect light, even in photography, and also as a video light for interviews. Thanks for watching, and if you are interested in buying this product, the link will be in the comment section down below.